conference finals. I think in both sports we have the conference final set, right? Or are we still waiting on hockey with
No,
that?
they're both. No, we're still waiting on the hockey for Western.
Right. So we're recording on Monday. Didn't really make sense to record on Sunday, and I ended up getting called into work anyway with all those game sevens going on and everything like that. It's not really much I would have been able to talk about basketball wise, but we have conference finals set in the NBA. It's
Yes,
very weird.
and waiting on one game seven to go for Western Conference Finals in the NHL.
Yes, that's that Canada series, the Edmonton versus
Yes,
Vancouver, right? Yes.
Vancouver and Edmonton.
And that's game seven as well, right? That's tonight.
That is game seven tonight as we're recording. Yes.
Excellent. Who you got?
Uh, well, I don't know. I mean, the
Game
odds
seven's
make.
always a toss up. It's always hard, so
I
we
know
can
it's always
excuse you with
tough. I
that.
mean, the odds makers are saying Edmonton. Which I mean, after seeing what Edmonton did last game, is understandable. But at the same time, it is game seven. They are back in Vancouver. So you would think that the Canucks are just going to come out and just lay it all out there on the ice and just pretty much give it everything they've got.
Now, I've
Um,
been hearing a lot of people saying that the Connor McDavid window to win one in Edmonton isn't slamming shut, but it's getting close. Do you think that this might be his like final hurrah, like his
I
final
mean,
push?
it could be. I was watching some of Game Six on what was that Saturday night. I was out. I was watching it for a little bit, and they threw a graphic up on the screen saying that the Edmonton Oilers have had Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, arguably two of the best, if not the two best hockey players in the world at the moment for 9 seasons.
Always
Nine,
been my problem with the team.
and I believe I think they've made the playoffs 6 out of the 9 seasons, but I forget if it was either they made the Western Conference Finals only once or not at all. It might have been one time in 9 years that they've made the Western Conference Finals.
And that was yeah. Yeah, I don't know how
It was one time, and they got swept that series in I think it was 2022. I think they got swept by Colorado. That's the only time.
Colorado. I was just about to
Yeah,
ask, was that a Tampa
I
dynasty run or
I don't know if that was it. Well, obviously they're in the Western Conference though, so
oh yeah, that doesn't make sense.
but yeah, they got. I think that was the year Colorado won the cup. Was
Hmm.
22. But that's the only time as of right now. Obviously, that could all change tonight. But so far in 9 seasons of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the Oilers have made the Western Conference Finals one time and got swept.
It's got to be really demoralizing as an Edmonton fan. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I
I
say the
know.
same thing about the Los Angeles Angels back when they had Otani and everything like that,
Yeah,
which we never
never
talk
made the
about
playoffs,
past.
not once.
We
No.
have to talk about past tense, the number one and number two players in baseball, and they didn't even make the playoffs. It's just like, honestly, how much more do we need? How much more do we have to do? How much more can we hit
Yeah.
than we already have? We already have the number one and the number two, and we're still not getting any success. Got to be disheartening, man. Got to be
Mhm.
disheartening.
Yeah, definitely.
But as for the series that have wrapped up, your Rangers finally have conquered the Hurricanes. It was a little scary. Definitely a little
Trust
scary.
me. No, I didn't watch most of Game Six. I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Oh
I,
man.
I turned the game on and I watched it up until the Hurricanes scored the first goal, and I had to turn it off because I was just like I was losing it. I couldn't watch it anymore because I was literally just getting too worked up that I had to turn it off. And I turned on the Mets game. I was watching that for a while. And I know at some point I opened up the NHL app. I looked at the score. I saw it was like the third period or whatever it was. The Hurricanes were up 3-1. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, what the hell? Oh God, the Rangers are collapsing again. Here we go again. Like it's last year against the Devils all over again. It's the year before against whoever they played.
That Tampa?
It might not. It might. I think it was the Hurricane.
Oh yeah, Hurricanes. I knew it was a
We're
Tampa team.
or whoever it was, or no, maybe it was Tampa in the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that. Whatever it was, and I'm just like, oh my god, here we go again. I'm like, it's 3-1, third period. Like, oh Jesus Christ, we're gonna have to play Game 7. Carolina's got all the freaking momentum. They've been kicking the crap out of the Rangers, and then I like fell asleep for a little bit. I woke up, got to see the Mets win in extra innings. I'm like, all right, shit, Rangers game. All right, let's check the 5-3 Rangers win. What the fuck?
Yeah, they came out of
To,
nowhere on
to
that one.
find out that I'm telling you, one day he is going to be known as Mr. New York Ranger. Chris Kreider scores a fucking hat trick in the third period to lead the Rangers past the Hurricanes and knock them out of the playoffs. It is just a thing of absolute beauty. It really is.
It's awesome that you guys have like these new young guys that are gunning for Mr. New York too, because over in basketball, Josh Hart has you'd think that Josh Hart's been playing on the Knicks for 15 years for the way that everybody loves Josh Hart now and
And
everything
he's
like that.
literally been there for like half a season.
Yeah, not yeah, half of a season that he got there, and already he's completely embodied everything in New York. You got Chris Kreider over, just absolutely killing it, saving you guys from a game 7, which I don't want. I'm not gonna look this up right now because I fear it's gonna take too much time while we're recording. But has anybody, if you were up 3-0 and it got forced to a game 7, that team that was up 3-0, I think it loses every single time, right?
I'm not sure.
I know the
I
Devils and the Flyers was one. I know Boston and Yankees was one. I don't think that there was a basketball one, was there?
I
I
don't.
think
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Miami Heat might have won when they went to the finals against Denver and
Mm.
came back 3-0. But yeah, I think that every team that has been winning 3-0 goes to game 7, and that's an L every single time just because of all that lost momentum from 3 straight W's.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was good that you guys avoided that. I don't think that we would be staring at the same Eastern Conference Finals had it gone to a game 7.
I know, and that's even too like the New York Rangers have a very good track record of Game Sevens at Madison Square Garden. But you're exactly right. From winning 3 straight to losing 3 straight, and now having to go to a Game 7 when you were thinking this series was going to be over in I don't know Game 5.
You're already deciding what you're gonna do for that week of rest before the next
Exactly,
one.
and
Like,
now
are
all
they
of a
having
sudden you
his
got to try and
family?
get back into it.
Yeah,
That's
gotta
tough.
be disappointing.
But yeah, Chris Kreider came out, and pretty much everybody but Chris Kreider has come out and said that in the locker room between the second and third periods, Chris Kreider like stood up or said in front of the team, "Hey guys, I'm scoring a goal in the third period."
There you go.
And not only did he score one goal, he scored three. He scored
That's
three
fucking leader.
and led them to a victory. Add the empty net goal just for salt in the wound, and some of the biggest thing I've obviously been seeing out of that is not only the fact that the Rangers, scored the 4 unanswered goals. It's just all the video I've seen of Kreider scoring that tying goal and just looking at the absolute just like disparity on the faces of Hurricanes fans at the game. Like, and not to mention like a couple videos of just like kids sitting in the stands crying. And it's just like, oh God, like you're so happy that the Rangers won as a Rangers fan, but at the same time, like you see a little kid sitting there crying. It's like, oh, like
That was good for the
I don't
Water.
want to be happy about that specifically, but uh,
No, you could say it as a fan who's won and is finally moving on. Because I've been
yeah,
in that situation. I've seen crying Rangers fans that were under 12 years old and everything like that. I've seen crying Shit. Who did the Giants eliminate 2 or 3 years ago? Was that the Vikings?
Might maybe I don't know.
But I've seen the crying fans and everything like that. And in that moment, and I feel like you're completely justified. But in that moment, you're allowed to say, "Fuck that kid." You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Like, I've earned this.
One Rangers fan kind of did because I forget if it was after Kreider scored the tying goal or the no he would that would have been the fourth goal, the go ahead goal. I think it was after that one. There was a Rangers fan at the game. It was some woman, and they show her reach over and want a knuckle bump from a like 10-year-old kid, all up in his Hurricane shirt with like a Hurricanes luchador mask on, and she reaches over and wants to get a fist bump from the kid after the Rangers scored the go-ahead goal, and this kid's just sitting there like just so like absolutely defeated.
Now, see, I'm blaming it on the Rangers fan there. Like, what do you want that kid to do?
Yeah, that's like
I'm a
come
Devils
on.
fan, and you guys fought all the way back and everything like that. And then some Rangers fan reaches out to me for a fist bump. I'm breaking that dude's wrist. Like, what are you doing? Get out of my face, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Especially playoff hockey, man.
Yeah, that one was kind of.
But that's hilarious. How do you feel against going up against the Panthers?
Oh God, I'm
One of the
scared.
two juggernaut teams. It was the
I'm
Panthers and
I'm
the Hawks,
I'm
right?
scared of the Panthers.
I would be too.
Not only because obviously they're a good team, they have a whole lot of offensive firepower. There's also the fact that the Florida Panthers are kind of they're the villains in the playoffs right now. After everything that happened in that series against Boston, and obviously, again, as a Rangers fan, I have absolutely no love lost for Boston. But
I was gonna say, as New
some of
York
the things that
sports
happened in
influence
that
people.
series that the Panthers got away with was absolutely ridiculous.
No, I agree with you 100%. Like I was saying, as New York sports influence people, it's really hard for us to be like, especially against Boston, like,
Yeah,
probably shouldn't be doing that. But like, it basically, like I'm saying, it's hard for us to root for Boston here. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
it is.
And that's kind of how it was, especially with the whole Sam Bennett thing and
Oh, that's
everything.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that like when I saw the clip and I saw the replay of them talking about him sucker punching Brad Marchand in the chin, which he clearly did. If you saw the video from like the opposite angle, he punches him right in the jaw.
Yeah, I think everybody's seen the video at this point. And my question to you, as somebody who's just like slightly more in tune to hockey than I am right now, like how does that take a whole day for Toronto to see it? Why was
And even when they saw it, they didn't do anything about it.
but that's
They
what I'm saying. And
yeah,
they
they
said,
just
oh well, we
run
already made our dealing on that.
decision. Yeah, that he's not going to face any consequences. And
Yeah.
and because I remember seeing the clip on Instagram, and I guess it was the guys that do like the post game and everything for whatever it is, TBS, NHL on TBS or ESPN or whatever. And it was the one guy, I think he's a former hockey player, was talking, and it's like, and like I just heard it in like the tone of his voice because I never knew who Sam Bennett was before this, and he's like, guys, this is Sam Bennett. This is Sam Bennett. And I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking nutcase. Like this
Yeah.
guy's a dirty scumbag. Like you could just tell in the tone, and pretty much everything else I've seen about this is like, no, Sam Bennett's a fucking lunatic. Like he's an absolute nutcase, and the only reason he's on a roster spot is because somehow he keeps getting away with these dirty, like clocking somebody in the jaw real quick, pushing players into their own goaltender, and like, oh, I got away with it and scored a goal, and they called it a goal when they shouldn't have. Yet, like, the only reason he's on the roster is for dirty
No,
shit like that.
yeah, no, I only want to push back just because I hate calling a player specifically dirty because this podcast was the same two guys that were like a couple episodes ago. We were lamenting how there were no enforcers left in the league, and
Yeah.
now when someone's trying to be an enforcer, we're like, whoa, 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 not against us.
Well,
Okay, hold on.
there's being an enforcer, and then there's doing some of the stuff that I've seen him. Like I said,
Right,
Skating
and
up
that's what I
behind
wanted you
somebody
to
and just straight
clarify.
up punching them in the jaw behind their back.
Exactly.
That's
There's
like, come
heavy
on.
hits, there's heavy hits, there's game-changing
Yeah.
defensive plays, and then there's
And then there's
sucker punching somebody in
that.
the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to make that distinction. I wanted you to clarify that.
Yeah. And apparently that's really, from what I've heard, supposedly that's really all he's known for, is doing like dirty stuff like that. From what I've heard. Again, I had never heard of the guy before, a few days ago when I saw that clip of him punching Brad Marchand in the jaw. I didn't know who he was.
So
So
what's your game plan going into the series? How do we get a Rangers game one dub?
I don't know. It's gonna be tough because you still got to think, at, the Florida Panthers might be potentially the highest powered offense in the playoffs.
And the hardest hitting defense.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better on defense, and the thing that worries me the most, that which had me kind of thinking that the Rangers might be slipping away against the Hurricanes, is the fact that even still in the playoffs, and this is what plagues them all regular season, they struggle at 5-on-5.
Right.
They kick the crap out of the Hurricanes on the power play. They kick the crap out of the Hurricanes on their power play for the most part. I think the Rangers scored like 3 shorthanded goals in that series. Florida's not going to let that happen.
Right.
Florida is not going to let that happen. So I just think it's going to come down to who is going to be the better goaltender, Igor Shesterkin or an aging Sergei Bobrovsky, who is still very good.
I was gonna say he's still so good,
He is still very good. And I think the Rangers just really have to hope that Shesterkin outplays Bobrovsky. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
really just going to come down to that.
yeah, I mean, like this is
And
the same guy that was
who
saying, "Hey,
can get the edge in like power play goals.
This was the same guy that was saying last podcast, let's calm down on the Brodeur comparisons with Shesterkin. But honestly, I really do believe, just from a completely objective point of view, the only person who uh, Shesterkin would lose against, if you had that kind of conversation with who's going to be the better goaltender in this series, might be Bobrovsky, because that dude's been standing on his head for the past,
Mm-hmm.
2 years now. You know what I'm saying? I, I don't know. I think that
I know
it's hard for me to be objective. It really is. I really want to support my friend here. I really want you guys to go far into the postseason, especially because all my winter sports, I'm done. I'm all out.
you're done.
I'm here strictly for the enjoyment. On at this point, I do want you to enjoy it a lot more than I do. At the same time, fuck the Rangers. So, I don't know. I think that they're a little bit more complete, just both offensively and defensively. I think that you guys are a little bit streaky, at least in the regular season when I've seen you guys play, and in
Yeah.
the very few postseason games that I've seen you guys play. You're very streaky offensively, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that come to bite you in the butt in
Yeah.
this series.
Yeah, because I mean, the Trocheck, Panarin, Lafreniere line has pretty much been their best line all season, especially 5-on-5, and that's like the one thing I kind of have to say about that. The one of the trades that the Rangers made with Jack Roslovic, like I know people have said like, oh, he's done, he's been good. That was a good trade, blah blah blah, and you know, to a point, he has done okay because he has not been a liability. He does have some speed. He does have some size. He uses it pretty well. He's made some plays here and there, but the fact of the matter is, he hasn't done enough to elevate that line to the number one line that they should be 5-on-5. They have not been enough of a factor 5-on-5 to me to really have confidence, enough confidence in them against the team like the Panthers, who have uh, Matthew Tkachuk, who have Vladimir Tarasenko, who have Sam Reinhart, who have the Selke winning trophy winning player for best offensive defenseman this season, Alexander Barkov. Like it's just very tough. If you're going to win this series, you need those top two lines to dominate 5-on-5. And that first line with Zibanejad, Kreider, and Roslovic just has not done that.
You had a series prediction for us?
Oh God, I mean it's at this point more of a hope than a prediction, but I hope that it's Rangers in 7.
There you go. There you go.
Because at that point I feel like I'd be able to, as long
Well,
as
who's
it's
got home ice advantage? Hold on. Do you want it to go to 7?
the
I mean,
Rangers
if you're
have home
playing,
ice.
okay, yeah, I was gonna say if you're
Yeah,
playing that game 7 in Madison Square Garden,
yeah,
I tend to agree with you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Rangers won the President's Trophy, so they have home ice throughout.
Okay, fair enough. Then yeah, I could take that in 7.
Because
It's a
yeah,
very real
I would
possibility.
trust that the Rangers at home in a game 7, as long as it ends up being some sort of like back and forth type series where it's like, okay, maybe the Rangers take the first two at home, maybe they split the two in Florida, then Florida steals one in New York. You know, it's got to be like a back and forth type thing. If it's another situation where the Rangers win 3 in a row and then Florida wins 3 in a row, I would be very worried at Madison Square Garden. But if it's like a split in New York, a split in Florida, and then they're just kind of going, and then they go back and forth, then it'd be like, okay, I trust that the Rangers would be able to toughen up for game 7 at home and get a win.
Now, what's your now last question on this before I think we move on because we have been talking about this a lot.
Yeah,
But
we have.
what is what's your view on like the way that you guys have gotten here? I feel like you guys have taken a little bit of an easier path. You took care of your first and second round pretty much. I mean, like it went to 6 for Carolina, but it didn't need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys had that pretty much wrapped up in the bag. Same with your first round opponent, whereas Florida had to go through their ultimate rivals in Tampa Bay before they knocked them off. They had to beat a very, very good Boston team. Are you guys coming in with a little bit of an edge? Maybe you're a little bit more well rested, or
Uh, I mean, it could be. Both teams are pretty much going to have the same amount of rest. The series is not going to be starting until Wednesday, the 22nd. So each team is going to have, pretty much about the same amount of rest there. Um, I think it's pretty much just whichever team is going to be able to focus in more and just really say, hey, buckle down and say, hey, this we know this is going to be a tough challenge. The toughest challenge we faced all season, but we need to find ways to get it done.
well, I mean, we've been pretty accurate with our playoff predictions, so let's keep it rolling. Rangers in
Yeah.
7. I like this. I like this.
And yeah,
And then
just quick, I know that the series isn't set yet, but I get the feeling that no matter who wins between Vancouver or Edmonton, I think Dallas wins that series.
yeah, that's what I've been hearing a lot too. Dallas is just has always
They're,
been the
they're a
team to
very
the
deep,
West.
very, very deep team offensively.
They might go back to back in both winter sports because
Mm.
speaking of Dallas teams, man, the Mavericks. I'm wearing my jersey as a little bit of a post-mortem report. Okay, local in the city.
Yeah.
We got eliminated in 6, and I figured I'd just do, like I said, a little bit of a post-mortem as to why I think we lost and how I think we could get better. And it really comes down to number one, experience. Obviously, Luka and Kyrie have been here before, have done it before. Kyrie, I think they by some metrics is the most clutch playoff basketball player ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's good. It was always going to be hard against that team. We didn't match up against them very well coming into it. I've talked a lot about during our playoff previews on previous episodes, how the team I kind of feared the most coming out of this was Dallas. And sure enough, we got them in the second round. And sure enough, we go down in six. I think you have to either, going forward as a Thunder fan and to any other, that might be actually listening to this or anything like that, we're the youngest team in basketball. The North Carolina Tar Heels fielded a team that was older than us this year. So that's a true fact. That's 100%.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So
pretty
you want
wild.
to talk about a really, really, really young core that you're gonna get to watch growing up, like for at least the next 5, 6, 7 years. I mean,
Hmm.
it's exciting times in Oklahoma City, regardless. I feel like, and I know that I'm probably one of very few. A lot of people say, "Hey, you guys are so young that you didn't really expect to go this far. This was great experience. You could consider this season a win." I'm just kind of more of a realist in that you're the number one seed in the Western Conference. That doesn't happen very often. You have to get very lucky as well as be extremely skilled at basketball in order to get a number one seed and then to get like a very easy path to the finals. Like you got. Let's be 100%, you know, real with this. You got the Pelicans who you swept and everything like that. And
Yep.
Dallas, I don't think that Dallas is going to be well, it's not going to be as easy for Dallas, and it wasn't easy at all. It went to 6 games, six very, very close games, as for them to eliminate the Thunder as it is for the Wolves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just if you're in that position, you got to go at least to the Western Conference Finals, and that's just my opinion on that. I feel like it's a lost season just because of that, just because you don't get very many opportunities in the NBA, especially being a super small market team and everything. So going forward, I think what killed us against the Mavericks is playing Josh Giddey and playing Lou Dort, both non-shooters. Lou Dort known for his absolute lockdown defense and everything like
Hmm.
that. Josh Giddey is more of a ball handler, playmaker type of guy. You play both of those guys, and you saw Giddey's minutes go down because of this. Mark Daigneault's the coach of the year for a reason. He saw that as well. But I mean, you can't play two non-shooters on the same on the court at the same time in a playoff game. It just puts way too much pressure on SGA and Jalen Williams to just always be producing. And like SGA has been here before and he had the stats to back it up and everything like that.
He
SGA
did.
100% top two or three guy in the playoffs this year, but he can't do it by himself. Jalen Williams was too young. He couldn't rise to the occasion. It was too big for him, and it showed a lot in where he showed up for big games where he went for 25, 7 and 7, and then he just kind of disappeared. And it was all on SGA to do things. And I think it's because we of the two non-starters that we have. Mark Daigneault realized that he benched Giddey. Giddey only really got 8 or 9 minutes per game throughout this entire series and everything like that, which means that we had to rely on basically our bench players, Isaiah Joe, the other Jalen Williams, and not Andrew, Aaron Wiggins, to produce buckets for us and try and play playoff basketball. And hey, guess what? They didn't play playoff basketball.
Hmm.
I don't really think that that's fair to them. They've always been role players slash bench starters and everything like that. They were put into a position where they kind of had to produce, and the spotlight was too big. I think that if you trade Giddey, who does have extremely good numbers, although you could argue that they would be even better if he was in a offensive scheme that let him thrive a little bit more, that let him hold on to the ball a bit more, as opposed to just
Yeah.
passing it to SGA, Jalen, or Chet the entire time. Those numbers would be inflated,
Hmm.
and so
So
I
he
expect
would need to go to a team that needs a point guard, essentially.
I expect a good haul for him from a team that is point guard hungry and everything like that. The Phoenix Suns come to mind right off the bat. We could probably get a very if we can get he doesn't even need to be a third option, a fringe third slash fourth option that can kind of just give us 15 to 16 points a game, just every day while Jalen and SGA is the main focus. If we could kick it out to you and still you could give us 16 points a game, I think that that would be a lot better off than where we stand right now with Josh Giddey and Lou Dort.
So
You want to
uh,
get
essentially, what the Thunder need is what the Dallas Mavericks have in PJ Washington.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
guy who just knock down threes and give you 12 to 15 points a game.
And if Josh Giddey and Lou Dort being on the floor at the same time was the number one killer, the number two killer for our team, and the reason why I'm standing here in an in memoriam jersey as opposed to a celebration jersey is motherfucking PJ Washington. I never understood this. I didn't know how he was
That
going to
dude
be
took
a corner
so many
killer.
open corner threes.
So many open corner threes since game two. I don't understand it. He went off and went 8 for 8 from three in game two. And we were just like, he won't do it again. And then in game three, he did it
And he
again.
did
And
it.
we were just like, I don't think he's got that in him 3 games
And then
in a row.
even
But
in
he
game six,
did.
like even in
He
game six, in like the second half, he went off.
we bet against PJ Washington for 5 straight games, and for 5 straight games, he told us, "No, no,
No.
I'm here to stay, sir. I am a viable third option." And I did not see this coming out of some guy from Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Nobody that is comes out of Charlotte first is good, or you know what I'm saying? So it's you can't leave PJ Washington wide open in the corner every single play for
Yeah.
5 straight games. You can't do it. And I don't know why we did it. I don't know if it was because we were more scared of Luka and Kyrie, which obviously we should be more scared of Luka and Kyrie. But at the
But
same
at the
time, this
same
guy's
time,
fucking cooking you in the corner over
yeah,
here.
exactly. Like
He's not even not.
as great as Luka and Kyrie are at ball handling, getting to their spots, Kyrie getting to the rim and finishing in all his ridiculous ways. Both of them also have amazing court vision and are like precision as hell passers.
Yeah. So I mean, and that it bit us in the ass, absolutely
Yeah.
hardcore. Where PJ and it was very fitting that the final nail in the coffin, the game-winning free throws, both came from PJ Washington.
Yes, they
It was
did.
just a microcosm of the entire series. We took this guy for granted. We said, he's from Charlotte, some kid we never heard about. Let him shoot it. He's not going to go back to back. He's not going to go back to back to back. He's not going to go back to back to back to back. Yeah, but he did. He
Yeah,
did.
well, he did.
Yeah. So I don't expect us to make that mistake next year. I think that if we could get a good, and I do expect us to get a good haul from Josh Giddey and get us just like a good third scoring option, we're going to go way deeper next year. So don't count us out. This ain't the last that you've seen of us. However, congratulations to the Mavs. You guys played really good. And I got the Mavs. No, I don't got the Mavs in 7. I can't say that. I've got the Wolves in 6. I've got the
Mm,
Wolves in 6
okay.
in this.
Mm,
I think Anthony Edwards and everything like that. He's just that there are teams that I've seen that weren't the best teams in the league, and it's been in every sport. It's been in the NFL where you could argue the Giants were not the best team, not anywhere near the best team in the league when they went through those 2 Super Bowl runs. You can argue it with baseball, with the Texas Rangers last year. It was the Rangers versus the Diamondbacks in the World Series, two
yeah.
very low regular season teams that just got hot at the right time. And I think that we're seeing that right now with the Timberwolves. This is just a team that got hot at the right time. Anthony Edwards is playing out of his goddamn mind. Cat is also playing out of his goddamn mind. Nas Reed is providing that bench support that every team needs in the playoffs. I'm not gonna say it's a walk away. I'm not, but I think that the Mavs have their hands full. I do.
Mm,
And
mm. So,
finally, like one more post.
what about the path of the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs of just nothing but teams that should have beat them, but every single one of their star players ended up getting hurt. Every
So that
single
was
one of them.
that was my final thing that I actually wanted to bring up. I wanted to do one more little post-mortem report on the New
Yeah.
York Knicks and how they fell and everything like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna stand here and eat my crow. I really am. I didn't think that the Pacers had a shot, even with the Knicks being so incredibly injured as they were. I called them a bunch of crybabies. I told them that they, crying against the refs. I said that it was one of the biggest heel turns in sports, just to go from a scrappy underdog small market team that everybody wants to root for. Tyrese Halliburton is a beast. Pascal Siakam, Spicy P, has a fun nickname you just want to root for and everything like that. And then it's just to just be small markets, bad refereeing. New York needs to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, come on, man, come
Yeah.
on.
Like
So
there's bad referees all over the NBA in every single game. Like what do
yes,
you
like not trying to defend the referees or anything like that, but bad refereeing has been plaguing every single series so far, and it's been
yeah,
on both sides of the
for
ball.
like
You
the
know?
entirety of the existence of the NBA.
Yeah, I would say that it's gotten particularly egregiously bad since like the All-Star break, where I
Yeah.
don't know if there was a meeting or something like that was just like, hey guys, swallow your whistles. We're not going to call anything unless somebody pulls a gun and shoots them in the face. It's going to be a clear. It's going to be we're all good. We're going to play ball. You know what I'm saying? So like that I would say since the All-Star break it's gotten egregiously bad, but you can't just sit there and say that it only affected one team because it very clearly did not. And then to say that they want the Knicks, the big market team, to be in the Eastern Conference Finals when the Knicks haven't been relevant since the 90s, blow
Yeah.
away for real. Like, the amount of crying that happened. But hey, you know what? You guys won. So congratulations on that. I think that you had it in you. Enjoy losing to Boston in five.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because think about it. They went through the Bucks without Giannis. Middleton was hurt. Damian Lillard was hurt. So they got by that. They, and then the Knicks series going into it, Mitchell Robinson was out. He's been out for a while. Julius
Yeah.
Randle's been out for a while. And then in that series, OG Anunoby got hurt. He didn't play like 2 or 3 games. Josh Hart got hurt in like game 6, whatever happened with his like
I
abdomen
only played through those games because
or
he's a
ribs
fucking monster.
or ribs or whatever it was. And then Jalen Brunson goes out with a fractured hand in game 7. Not to
Yeah.
mention Bojan Bogdanovic, one of the big bench pieces for the Knicks, was hurt and didn't play at all in the series. So
The
like
entire they they were talking. I saw on one of the subreddit, the official subreddit for the New York Knicks, them having a legitimate and honest conversation who would win the current Knicks starting five or all the guys that were injured on the Knicks if they went 5-on-5, and it was a really solid debate. Like you couldn't really pick who would win because the Knicks are down 7 guys,
yeah.
and that's a team that you took to 7 games. So
Yeah, because you think about by the end of that game 7, the Knicks had like between their normal like 10-man rotation, they had like 4 of those guys healthy. And
yeah,
they just had to literally throw like their extra, like third string couple of guys onto the floor because they had nobody else to play.
I mean, Precious Achua was getting like legitimate starting minutes in a playoff
Yeah.
game. That's how desperate that it got to.
Like
So
Miles McBride.
I'm happy for the city of Indianapolis. I'm happy for the Pacers. This is probably what the farthest that they've gotten in a very long time. It puts a little bit of a shine and a spotlight onto a small market team. And I say this all the time. Small market teams winning is good for the sport. It's
Yes.
good for the sport. It gets way more eyes onto it, more eyes that wouldn't generally be watching it, okay, onto the sport and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
congratulations. Thank you, Indiana Pacers, for getting this far. Enjoy getting the gentleman sweep. because
Yeah.
that's the best case scenario for you guys right now for it to be in 5.
Hey, except here's the thing: if the trend continues, we could potentially see all of a sudden that series gets to like game 3 or something like that. Next thing you know, Jason Tatum gets hurt, Kristaps Porzingis gets hurt, and next thing you know, it's like Jaylen Brown and like a bunch of like depth pieces that are playing the healthy Indiana Pacers.
Or God forbid Derek White if it gets to that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, say Jaylen Brown gets hurt. Next thing you know, the best player that the Celtics have available is Derek. And it's not a knock to Derek White. He's a good player, but if he's the best player that you have healthy and available,
Definitely got hot right now. He's the guy that's hot in the playoffs right now, and that's not who you want to rely on.
yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. Yeah,
We have a much larger body of Derek White not being a very good point guard than we do of Derek White just being the absolute fucking monster that he's been being. So yeah, I could see that. Injuries, you don't want to ever wish injury on anybody or like project injury
no,
on anybody. So I'm just saying these two teams, the way that they are right now, the best option for
the,
the Indianapolis Pacers is a gentleman's sweep.
yeah,
That's a success for them. I mean,
it
this
is
is the season.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? A very young team, exactly like the Thunder, exactly like the Wolves, and everything like that. I mean, this is something that they can build on for sure.
Yeah, the biggest thing they need to build on though is playing defense.
Agreed on that. Yes, 100%. That this is a team that does not even believe in defense, let alone play defense. Like it's wild. It really is, and they're all their games are always extremely fun to watch because of that.
Yeah.
That being said, we're gonna take a midway break because I have to use the bathroom.
Okie dokie. Where's my water?
Out in the middle of Target called the O-Pills by a 1 or 3 month supply, just on the shelf. No age verification. It's not locked behind anything. It's running out.
No free ads
Oh,
unless I'm getting paid.
look at that. The New York Mets are losing again. Wonderful.
Yes, of course they are.
Yeah.
We've been neglecting the New York Mets because we've been being bad fans, okay, and not paying attention to them when they're bad.
Oh, I've
Okay,
been paying attention.
I haven't. I'll be
I
telling you
know that they're bad.
that.
I know
uh,
I know they've been playing very, very bad.
that one streak that they went through in the NL East, where they basically lost every game. I think they played the Phillies and the Marlins, and they
Hmm.
went like 0 for 6. I was like,
I
okay,
know.
I'm
I
done with
think
Mets
they took
baseball for
one.
a
They took
while.
one game from the Marlins.
Oh, okay, hooray!
Yeah, they won
Edwin
one game against the Marlins.
Edwin Diaz has been having a bad time lately, as I've
Very much so.
yeah, I heard
I
he's not
mean,
even
really, everybody has. It's the Mets have been a very streaky team this year, where like the good streaks have not been very long. Like Lindor has been very up and down. He's had a couple times where he's had like 2 or 3 games in a row where it looked like he was starting to break out, and then he would fall back into a slump. Alonso's kind of been the same way, where like he'll go through like a stretch of like a few games here and there where all of a sudden he's like, because I think um the other day I saw he had like an 8 game stretch recently where he was hitting like 330. He had a couple home runs. He was driving some, but then at the same time, like it'll just flip back to the negative. I think, Brett Beatty's been the same way. Like, he started out hot and he's had some times here and there where he's gotten some good hits, and then other times where he's been kind of struggling. The pitching's been up and down. Like, our starters have been like, oh, they had a good start here. Oh, they had a good second start in a row, and then they had a bad one.
Really bad injuries, also just
That's
ones that we can't absolutely afford, which always comes back to kill us in the end. I feel like every single year, or for the past like 3 or 4 years that we've been watching Mets baseball, it's like this team can really do damage if they stay healthy, and
Yeah, and then they
they
don't stay
cannot
healthy.
stay
Yeah.
healthy. You know,
Yeah,
we've had
McGill.
Alvarez
I
out for a
think
while.
McGill's been like on and off injured. Brooks Raley, who is a very good left-handed reliever in that bullpen, might be done for the season. From what I heard, Kodai Senga was supposed to throw a bullpen session. I think like yesterday or today, missed it because he had tricep
He had a
tightness.
setback,
Had
right?
he had a setback. But yeah, obviously Francisco Alvarez, who was probably our most consistent offensive player so far this year, is recovering from the torn ligament in his thumb. He's going to be out for probably another like 3 weeks or so.
Well, this is good. This is good because we've kind of been neglecting the Mets for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Not only just because they've been bad, but also because we've been so enamored in our team specifically, making deep playoff runs in other
Yeah.
sports and everything like that. So you can't really even blame us.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to, excuse me, for next week, I kind of want to do like let's get our research up. Let's watch some games and everything like that, and like let's do a little bit of a deep dive at as to where exactly the Mets season went wrong, what we think they can do to fix it, and if we should be buyers or sellers at this trade deadline. You
All
know,
right,
so
we can do that.
yeah, get ready for that next week. Um, let's think. What about football? We got anything football wise? I know I was ranting about quarterbacks and everything last week.
I mean, nothing that I've really been heard of. I obviously haven't been looking, but it's still just kind of at that time. I think teams are having their mini camps and OTAs and stuff like that, but yeah, nothing obviously really too big to talk about right now.
I have a bit of a spicy hot take that I want to kind of just throw out there, let it simmer, see how I feel about it and everything like that. Here we go. And I am not one of those guys that are all doom and gloom. I like to be an optimist. I'm a glass half full type of person. However, I'm also a realist, unfortunately. I'm also a man of, I would say, at least moderate intelligence. Okay. I am a guy that, can put two and two together and everything like that. Here's my take. I think that if Daniel Jones does go off and we do have a moderate bit of success as the Giants this season and everything like that, I think that might be the worst case scenario for us. And let me tell you why. I love playoff football. I love it when my team is good. I love shit talking other teams and everything like that. It's one of my favorite things to do. Uh, but I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I just don't. I just so 2022 when Daniel Jones was on the last of his rookie contract, he balled out and got us into the second round of the playoffs. We rewarded him with a
Mm-hmm.
giant contract that kind
Yep.
of set us for 2 years when he proved that oh well, that was only a contract year where I absolutely balled out. That's not really who I am.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Here we are entering yet another contract year where after this year, we
Mm-hmm.
can really just kind of cut ties with Daniel Jones. Okay. It's feasible. It won't cost us a lot. It won't cost us a lot of dead cap space and everything like that. And we can honestly move on with a quarterback that we can think is either going to be a bridge quarterback till we find somebody in the draft that is good, or our actual draft quarterback that we can build on and everything like that. That gets completely screwed up if Daniel Jones goes 9-8 or above. It really does. It gets
It
screwed
kind of
up. nine and eight or above. If God forbid that we make a wild card run and everything like that, they're going to do the same exact thing that they did in 2022. And we know that he's not our guy. We
Yeah.
know, we know this. And I really just, I don't, not that I don't trust the Giants because I have to trust the Giants, right? I'm a fan. I have to trust the ownership and everything like that to make the right decision and do the right thing and everything like that. But what has given me faith so far that they are going to make the right decision here? What if Daniel Jones goes 10-7, we make a wild card, and then like for I'm just making up a random scenario and everything like that because we would have to see how it all falls and everything like that. But what if we make the wild card, go 10-7, and then knock out the Cowboys before getting eliminated by a way better team, a team that was always going to beat us, that we always knew was going to beat us, but we had false hope that because Daniel Jones played out of his mind for 9 weeks because he doesn't want to get cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what does that do for us? What does that do for us? It gives us 2 exciting weeks of football, followed by yet another 2 or 3 years before we can finally hit the reset button. Before we can finally get a quarterback that can play for us, that can push us to a spot where we can be productive. So I don't want to be that kind of fan and everything like that, but honestly, I really think best case scenario is just a 4-13 season. Like,
Yeah,
just let's
maybe it is
stop.
because yeah, that's tough because you don't want to say like, oh well, this is kind of a year where like, do we see like, oh, can Daniel Jones do it? But if he does do it and he does do well, is it yes another situation where he's just playing out of his mind because he's like, oh, I got to try and get another contract.
And
Let
we
me
saw
just
the same exact
push
thing
as
in
hard as I possibly can.
And we saw this in 2022 where he did push as hard as he possibly could and everything like that. And granted, there's a lot of differences between now and 2022 going into the 2022 season. He's coming off a bad neck. He's coming off a torn
Yeah.
ACL and everything like that. The dude is a mobile quarterback. That's kind of his threat and everything like that, where if you ignore him, he can beat you with his legs and everything like that. Now you're coming off of all
Yeah.
these injuries. So you're
Until
going to be
until he trips over his own feet
yeah, so you're gonna be one more limit.
in the open field with nobody near him.
Okay, it's like I'm trying to be nice here. Okay? Trying to be nice, but yes, we have not seen anything even in his best that could possibly let us believe this is a quarterback that could get us to the Super Bowl. This is a quarterback that can push us over the hump and get us to win it all.
Yeah.
Nothing we've seen, even in his best. Nothing we've seen. We were way underdogs in both of those playoff games. Okay. And if you had told anybody that we were making the playoffs in 2021 after that disastrous season in 2022, they would have laughed you out of the whatever building that you were in. Okay. We've never been a serious threat with Daniel Jones as the quarterback. So let's just go 4-13 and let's just put the fucking exclamation point on this era of Giants football, however you want to call it, and everything like that, and move on from there. I can do one more 4 and
Okay.
13. I'd rather do that.
All right.
And
The
I'm gonna get shit for that. I'm gonna be like, you're a bad fan. You as a fan, you always want your team to win. Of course, I always want my team to win. I'm a realist, though. I think that they're right now. If I said to 100 NFL fans, random, anonymous NFL fans, if I just pluck them out of the air, put them down, and I said to them, "What do you think about the Giants' chances to win the Super Bowl this year?" Every single one of those 100 NFL fans would tell you zero. Zero. There's a 0% chance we're winning this Super Bowl this year. Okay, so let's just fucking get it over with. Get it over with. One more 4-13 season's not going to kill me. Let's just fucking do it and get it over with.
So there's one last thing I will say about that before we move on to our final thing for tonight is there's absolutely no way that even if the Giants did make the playoffs this year, there's no way they'd be playing the Cowboys because the Cowboys ain't making the playoffs this year.
Well, I'm just saying I threw out something out there because I knew that having a win over a divisional rival would supercharge your argument into being like, hey, maybe you could throw me around for one more year. Look, I beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. You guys fucking hate the Cowboys, right? Something like that. And realistically, I did not see us beating the Eagles. So we haven't since like what, 2012?
I don't know. And realistically, I think the Cowboys stealing this season is going to be 8 wins. Maybe.
Dark times for both of us.
'Cause
But mine
they
are like
have-
optimistic dark times. I hope we go 4-13. I really do. Now, granted, would I love nothing more than for Daniel Jones to shut me the fuck up and be like, I took whatever the opposite of kryptonite is. I took super mega steroids in my neck and my leg, and now I'm Patrick Mahomes. And here's another giant Super Bowl, Kyle. Don't you
yeah,
look
here you go.
Yeah, don't you look fucking
I got a blood
stupid?
transfusion from
Don't you
Patrick
wish that
Mahomes.
you were yeah, don't you wish that you were rooting for a 4-13 season now? Yes, in the meteor comes down and causes an annihilation event percent chance that Daniel Jones leads us to a Super Bowl. I promise you I will be the first person to eat crow on that. But that is not anywhere near realistic to what I have seen so far. It's not. So I'm trying to live in the here and now, in the present, with facts and things that I've seen for the past 5 or 6 years. Let's just fucking move on, man.
All right.
Okay, kick it.
Well, and we are going to move on as well because we have to make some connections, but we have a choice here.
Uh-oh.
Because this little thing at the top here, if you can see that says 4x4 grid getting too easy, click here to try our new 5x5 Hall of Fame game mode.
Okay. All right. So I love us. I think that we're very smart. I think that we're very good at sports and everything like that. But we have like a 65% record on 4-on-4.
This is true.
Let's rattle off a winning streak on 4-on-4 before we switch to 5-on-5. Because I don't think we're going to get any people wanting to chime in on us losing constantly.
Okay.
So here we go. Okay.
Here we go. We got Magic Johnson, Tony Parker, Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, Paul Pierce, Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson, Jalen Brunson, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, LaMelo Ball, James Harden, and Damian Lillard.
I'm looking at Shai and Brunson as something that might be a thing. Shai, Brunson, Parker, and Johnson as far as like playoff points/assists, right? Maybe.
No, Shai's too young. He hasn't played enough in the playoffs.
You only need to play one playoff run to get the average up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for averages. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because Jalen's only had one. But I guarantee it, like, because I know that wasn't, I don't know, I think it was either Jalen or Shai that went for like more 30 and 10 playoff games than Michael Jordan. I think it was either Shai or Jalen. I can't remember. I was watching both of them heavily this playoff run.
Yeah, I don't know, because normally they say there should be one obvious one, but I'm not exactly seeing an obvious one outside of, there's nobody else, because Iguodala, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson all won championships with the Warriors, but nobody else here did. So that can't be anything.
I'm looking at like trying to find like a San Antonio Spur
Oh yeah, because but it's only you got Parker and Kawhi,
and that's it.
Nobody else.
Yeah. Or maybe like a Texas basketball. We could throw Jalen in there. We could throw Luka in there.
basketball? What do you mean, Jalen
San
Brunson?
Antonio, San Antonio and Dallas. Jalen Brunson started his career in Dallas.
Oh, he did start his career in Dallas. That's true.
Yeah. But that's kind of stretching it.
So yeah, who would be there? Because he played in San Antonio, but then James Harden would fall in there too. He used to play for Houston.
Houston, yeah. So what if we do like Tony, Kawhi, James, and Jalen, James Harden and Jalen as or no, not Tony. Let's do Kawhi, James Harden, Jalen, and Luca as far as like points per game leaders among Texas teams.
No, that's not going to be anything.
No,
No,
no, I think so.
we're going to use a hint.
We'll reveal a hint. Active 3 years.
Active 3-point leaders. Okay, so that's Steph, that's Clay.
Careful with Clay.
Got to be James Harden and Damian Lillard.
Careful with Clay. He had a bad year this year.
Yeah, but it just says active 3-point leaders. I'm
Yeah,
guessing that's career 3-point leaders.
Oh, see, I read active as in this season. But
Well, no,
but if it is throughout a career. If it is throughout a career.
It would have said this season though. If it was this season, active just means they're active.
Well, then yeah, throw in Damian. Or maybe LeBron just out of sheer volume of games played.
Oh yeah, that's true. It might be him over Lillard, I think. Well, it's got to be one of the. It's definitely these two. I'm pretty sure James Harden is there.
Yeah, but now I'm looking at Kobe.
He's not active though.
Oh, active. Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right. Yeah, hit it.
No, so I think it's got to be
one away. One away.
Yeah, I think it's got to be unless is Harden not that high up there? Is it LeBron over Harden?
No, offensively, Harden's known for two things. It's the 3-point shot and what you call the rip.
So, oh yeah, so it would be these four then, right?
I don't know, man. I think LeBron just out of sheer volume. I would take out either James or Damian and put in.
Well, we tried it without Damian Lillard. So you think LeBron is over James Harden?
See, that's kind of weird too. Now that you think about it. Yeah, do James Harden, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. See where that is.
Yep, there we go. Okay. All right, so that was the easy one. So what could have? Who else do we have here? Actually, you know what? One of them could be. I'm looking at Finals MVPs.
Oh, I like it. I like it. But Giannis would probably be in there too now.
Oh, that's true.
Or unless it's most, because Kobe, Tony, and LeBron and Magic have both had all four have more than one, and Giannis.
No, Tony Parker, I think, only won one Finals MVP. Or did he? I think he did. Maybe he didn't.
Well, no, because the other ones could have went to Ginobili or Duncan, so that's very possible.
Yeah, and I know Kawhi won one as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's here too. Shit.
I'd take out Tony and put in Kawhi.
You think so? But yeah, Giannis did win one when they won, obviously.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure.
Maybe it's because they might have multiple. Because I think Kawhi got it when he won in Toronto.
Did he?
I think he got Finals MVP for that series.
Was that final Tim Duncan push?
No, when Kawhi was in Toronto, when he won in Toronto.
No, I know that he won the MVP in Toronto, but I'm trying to figure out if while he was in San Antonio, did he catch a ring with Tim Duncan?
Yeah, and he won a Finals MVP with Tim Duncan.
Yes, yeah, then definitely.
So these guys, I believe, do have multiple Finals MVPs. Okay, Giannis, I think, only has one, and Tony Parker, I believe, has one.
Andre Iguodala has one.
That's true, but these guys I know have multiple. So let's see if that's it. If not, we'll go now. Okay.
Wait, wait,
And
wait.
oh wait, one away.
One away.
One away from what though?
What if we take out LeBron and put in Paul Pierce?
For what?
I don't know. The Celtics and everything have won multiple rings with Paul Pierce on their bench, on their squad, right? Maybe he's got multiple MVPs.
No.
You don't think so?
LeBron has
Who's the guy-
multiple Finals MVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna click it. What's the regular season points per game leaders from
Is
this
this
season?
for the from this season?
Yes,
Okay, so do Luca, LeBron,
LeBron,
Shea,
Jay, and
Giannis.
Giannis.
Yeah, and the only way that would be wrong is if you need to switch LeBron for Kawhi. Oh
Brunson. No, Brunson wasn't that high, right? Or was he? I don't
no,
think
like
so.
he only caught in this. He only caught on like late season.
Yeah,
So
honestly, I think you're right. I think that's it. No, it's not. One away.
all right, take out LeBron for Kawhi.
LeBron for Kawhi.
Yeah.
Why does this keep doing that? For Kawhi.
Wait a minute.
Now it's these four.
Wait,
the-
it all absolutely messed up on me, so I have no idea. Hold on. Shea, Giannis, Luca, Kawhi. Yeah.
Points per game leaders.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
who's
and we were
the-
actually wait a minute.
It was Jalen Brunson.
Oh, that was our last guess?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, why is it filling out?
Oh, youngest All Stars. Oh, jeez. I probably
Kobe, LeBron,
If I
LaMelo, and
picked out
Magic.
a regular. So I had something with the Finals MVPs
That's actually really cool. I
with
like
that
that.
regular season MVP. I was so close too.
Paul Pierce would be one
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, that's
Damn.
crazy. Iggy. So
Yeah.
remember when I was calling out Iggy for winning his MVP? I should have connected that.
Hmm.
Ah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Do we want to
That's
try
right.
it?
That ruins a 3-game winning streak. I've been paying attention.
Yeah.
So we've been up more than we've been down.
What do we got for yesterday? Anything interesting? Kobe, Shea, Ginobili, Robinson, Wilt, Vlatko,
Cancer?
Konchar, Tony Parker, MJ, Sasha Vujicic, Goran, Duncan,
Ooh.
Aaron Fox, Caruso, Doncic,
Sasha
Harden.
Vujic, I knew you got excited for as a semi Nets fan there.
Sasha Vujicic.
Are there any
All right.
no?
Well,
Who the fuck's Vladko Cancer?
for Konchar, he's a role player guy. I've heard the name before. I don't really. Okay, so I'm thinking. I think all four of these guys played for
The Spurs.
the Spurs. I don't know if they were ever there at the same time. It would have had to have been at like the very end of David Robinson's career. I know they all won titles for the Spurs.
Yeah, let's go for it. Submit it.
They played for the 03 Spurs. Okay.
Wow. That's a crazy 03 Spurs team. David
Yeah,
Robinson, Tim
that's
Duncan,
insanity.
that is
I
crazy.
think that might be the Spurs team that swept the Nets in the finals.
How cool is the San Antonio Spurs, man?
All right, so what else do we have? We got Kobe, Matisse Thybulle, Harden, Wilt Chamberlain, De'Aaron Fox, Konchar, Vujicic, Goran Dragic, Luka, and
What about
Alex.
really good Eastern European guys? Because we could do like Sasha, Goran, Vlatko, and Luka.
It could be. They're definitely all European.
Eastern European for sure.
Yeah, I mean we could try it.
Why not?
All right. Let's see if that does anything.
Hey!
Slovenian NBA players. There you
Let's go.
Okay.
That was completely all right. Here we go. Ready?
All right. So we got Kobe, Matisse Thybulle, James Harden, De'Aaron Fox, Alex Caruso, Wilt, Shea, and Michael Jordan. What the
Kobe,
hell could any of these guys
Kobe,
have in common?
Kobe, Michael, Shea, and Wilt.
What would they have in common?
Most 30 and 10 games in a playoff.
Oh, that's very no, because Kobe only scored. He didn't do anything else. I mean, he was an average rebounder and he never passed the ball.
That's true. Maybe James then?
I'm thinking potentially De'Aaron Fox, Thibault, Shea, and Caruso could have been drafted in the same year.
No, that's true too. That's true too. They are very young guys. They're very young guards right now. So that could be.
Well, we still have all our shots, so let's give it a shot. Oh,
Wow.
steals for game leaders. I got the wrong category with the right players.
So what does James Harden have in what does James Harden have in common? Like
It
three
could be
absolute
like points in the playoffs or something, maybe.
gotta be points in the playoffs or something like that, or maybe
Uh,
like double doubles.
could
20 and
be.
10 games.
Obviously, let's see what it is. Oh, most 50-point games. Okay.
No. James Harden's fake.
Yeah.
One of these
Because when
things
he
is
was
not
getting,
like the other.
yeah,
And then
because
it's
when he was
James
getting his
Harden.
50-point games, he was getting like 20 free throws a game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one of these things is very not like the other.
Yeah. Well, and Wilt too. Wilt is just a mystery because he played so long ago. There's really not much like video evidence of what he actually ever did. So,
Will average 60 points a game in his career. Let that sink
well,
in.
that again, so they say, but there's not really a whole lot of video evidence to back that up.
I would agree with you if it didn't take place in the 60s and 70s. If it did not take place in the 60s and 70s, where basketball was just starting out and everything like that, and everybody was really super racist, Will
Yeah,
Chamberlain was probably playing against 5'4" accountants.
probably
You
that's
know
true.
what I'm saying?
The only
So
thing you can for
it's the
sure say that
ones
is potentially false was the 100-point game.
the 100-point
Because
game, right? Yeah, because nobody ever
everything about that, they played in like some gymnasium somewhere. There's no videotape evidence. There's literally just him in the locker room holding up a piece of paper with the number 100 written on it in like black crayon.
that is suspect. It's suspect. But again,
Everything else I could understand though, yeah.
it's hard to not believe him when you're like they literally. I feel like the NBA went out and found and was like, okay, let's get two really good 6'10" black guys and let's let them go against our best white guys and let's see what happens. And guess what? Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain
Really just
smoked them.
destroyed everybody.
Smoked them. So yeah, I mean that's the only reason why I kind of believe it.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing though, because a lot of people are gonna hate on you really hard for any kind of Will Chamberlain slander. It's kind of like the same thing as
There is like enough video clips of him just showing him at like 7'1" and he's like a foot taller than like anybody else on the court.
yeah, at least a foot taller. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the
And
only
he's
reason
just
why I
like,
kind
and he's going up with just like these weird ass like finger roll looking shots. It's just like, what the hell? It's like, what? Like,
of speaking
but
of speaking of taking down other people's goats, what's your take on what's his name? The really good horse, Seabiscuit.
oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about horse
Jason
racing.
Kelsey said that he was taking steroids.
Who knows? I mean, can you really blame the horse at that point?
I mean, I don't know
It
if you
would
could
be
blame
the owner's fault.
horse racing's so weird like that. Like, do you blame the horse for taking steroids? Because
Right.
it's not like he said, "Hey, bro, inject me up" or anything like that.
Exactly.
It's
No, it's
clearly
the
the
owner's
trainer.
choice to start just putting needles in their horse. Like it's
Yeah.
not like the horse,
It's not
consents
Seabiscuit. What the
to
hell?
it.
What the hell's the really good horse that I'm thinking of?
Seabiscuit was one of them. Secretariat was another.
Secretariat.
Yeah,
Secretariat. I knew it started
yeah.
with an S. Secretariat. Okay, Secretariat
Secretariat.
has all right. So Jason, I don't know if you've heard, but like Jason Kelsey said that Secretariat's records have stood for 50, 60 years. Every single sport in every single area, men's and women's, has vastly improved since 50 or 60 years ago. Records
Hmm.
keep continuously getting broken
Yeah.
because we're moving on in science, we're moving on in technology,
Hmm.
and how to take care of
Yeah,
our
training
bodies better,
programs, and yeah, this and that.
and take care of our bodies better. So Jason Kelsey saying, so every sport in the world has gotten better except horse racing. Like, except
It's very plausible.
so we'll let Jason Kelsey take down Secretariat. We're on Will Chamberlain. We're
Yeah.
questioning. I want to see the documentation. Give me one grainy ass taken with a potato video, and then maybe I'll believe you.
What about Wilt Chamberlain?
Yeah, about Will Chamberlain's 100. Give me
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah.
somebody who's got a potato that's plugged up in with the water and everything like that and is recording. Just come on, man. Give me one picture of the
Yeah,
game.
somebody's got to have a picture of the game
A
somewhere.
radio broadcast,
Yeah,
anything, man.
anything
Like, come on, man.
to try and prove that Wilt Chamberlain did actually score 100 points, because that's really the only thing about his career that I think you could potentially question.
Yeah. Stay
Like the fact
woke.
that he was averaging 50 points a season. All right, yeah, sure, because he was playing against a bunch of guys that he was just way taller than and all that other shit.
Yeah.
So okay, sure, I can believe that. But the 100-point game is just we have that one picture with the little 100 written in like black marker or crayon or whatever it was.
Yeah. I mean, like
Eh,
50 points per game average, 30 rebounds per game average sounds really awesome until you realize that the Chicago team of the era was consisted of guys that looked a lot like me and you.
yeah,
So
yeah, a lot of
not a
guys
lot.
barely pushing like 6 foot, and he was
Yeah.
like 7'1".
Yeah. And could stride down the court in 5 strides and everything
Yeah,
like that. So,
and
yeah,
these
no.
other guys were kind of pulled off the street like they were plumbers and
Yeah,
other stuff
exactly.
like that, and they're just like, "Oh, you know how to play basketball? Oh, I guess so. All right, here you go."
This is John Mulaney's second job. He moonlights as a basketball player.
Yeah,
He's actually your accountant
yeah,
during
like
Texas. I don't know if you
who's another
recognize
big
him.
name from back then? Bob Cousy. He was a
Yeah,
plumber, like,
Bob Cousy, the plumber before this. But yeah.
and then he became a professional basketball player.
Stay woke. We don't think that Will Chamberlain really did the 100-point game. But until then, uh like and subscribe. It's down here.
I know
All
you
that
can't see my
information and
fingers right
everything
now,
like
but I'm
that.
pointing down.
We're all pointing down and everything like that. This has been Beer Boys live from right outside planet Earth's atmosphere, it looks like. So we'll catch you guys next time.
We
What do you
will see
got
you
for
next
us? What do
time.
you got for us for next week?
For next week, well, I'll be another year older.
Oh, same.
Uh,
Cheers to that. Late May
uh,
birthdays. We're both Gemini. So
yeah,
that's why this
that's
podcast works so well. I don't know if that's true or not.
but
I don't pay attention to it.
at that point, the conference finals for NHL and NBA will be underway. We'll do the baseball thing, and maybe we'll have a little more confidence to go 5x5 on late connections.
I'm going for it. Let's do it next week. Let's make sure that all the viewers get excited for that next week. Also, seriously, let's deep dive into the Mets and let's be a good fan and figure out why we suck so bad, and let's see how we can improve it. All right.
Okay.
Check us out next week. I'll see you later, boss.
See ya.